Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Decentraland All Hands community sessions. These sessions have been designed to provide more comprehensive insights and help foster deeper connections and synergy between our lovely foundation and Decentraland community. This session is broken up into three various segments, and usually beginning with product updates, followed by foundation updates, closing up with the AMAs. And if you guys haven't gotten a chance to submit any questions, I posted the link to our Slido in our chat earlier, and hopefully, I believe it's still there. If not, I'll just paste it again. So feel free to submit your questions within there. And also, just a reminder that the cadence of these sessions is every 8 weeks. And if you have any questions in between these sessions, there is always support via chat, email, Canny, and the RFIs. And for details, we also have a great thread that we did a while back. Here, let me paste that in here in the chat for you guys to check out as well. And you can read up in more detail all about those different ways of communication. And one other little link I wanted to share with you guys, we also have all our recordings of these AMAs of these all hands are actually up on YouTube, and feel free to check out our playlist if you want to catch up on any of that. So with that, I will pass it on to, I believe it's Kim. Thank you.
Hey everyone, welcome. Good morning. Excited to jump into this month's All Hands. We have a lot of updates, so we will go through fairly quickly so that we also have time for questions. I know it's 90 minutes, but lots of good, exciting stuff to share. So we will jump right in. Here, I'm going to cover some of the general updates from our end. So many of you saw we were at the GDC in San Francisco, which is the Game Developer Conference. This is the biggest gaming conference in the world, basically, in terms of people that come that are game developers and interested in what's been happening in the space. So we had a tabletop and a booth sponsorship, so two different opportunities for people to see us there. The tabletop was in like the main building where people were coming, walking around, asking questions the first 2 days. And then the second was the booth sponsorship, which we'll get more into, which was for 3 days where we had a full booth on the expo floor. Both were opportunities for us to just get some additional exposure. We had swag for attendees, for any DCL community members. There was secret swag for them as well, just to make sure people walked away with something Decentraland related after talking to us. Always a good benefit. We made a custom landing page and exclusive wearable set for the experience. So if people came to us, you'll see an example on the next page, but we had built an experience to encourage them to build their digital identity in Decentraland and jump on in the future. And then we invited local community members. So we posted in all of the Discords saying that we had some extra tickets for anyone local in the area that may want to join for the expo tickets. We had Kanessa, Ruston, Aga, and Bitcoin all join and meet us. So it was great to get some time with the community as well. And we also met other people that we didn't know were part of the community. So people would come up to our booth and be like, oh, I bought land in 2020, still holding strong, or Mana Holder over here, thanks for building everything. So it was really nice to meet some new people that may not be active every day, but are in the ecosystem. So just to share, we created a lot of content for the event. So we had, this is an example of the booth. There was a screen that was showing a 2.5-minute video all about Decentraland. It was very high level on things you could expect to see. So it had some music fest, it had some fashion week, it had some games, it had just parties. So we're going to be posting that on YouTube. My plan is to get that up this week. So if you ever need a general, what is Decentraland video? There's no copy on it, but it's just showing a lot of different content with music overlaid. It's about 2.5 minutes. So that'll be a good one that anyone can access and use and share. We also created a quick gaming overview in Decentraland, much shorter. It showcases 4 games in particular: Metadyne Labs, the music game in NBC The Voice, Knights of Antrim, and Golfcraft. The reason those were chosen is that we wanted to show one in each kind of category we think about. So kind of a like Portal style shooter-esque single player game, a music, my dog, a music opportunity like The Voice, a Knights of Antrim, an RPG, and Golfcraft, traditional sports. So we have that video that is also up on YouTube and tweeted out. So we will be creating more gaming content in general, but it was nice to get that all out from the onset for the gaming community to see what's possible. So some key learnings is a lot of text, but just the high level. Many people at this event, so this is a very Web2 traditional gaming type of event. So most people there that we spoke to were actually unfamiliar with or had heard of Decentraland, but really didn't understand all the intricacies, what's possible as a creator. And that was a good opportunity for us to do a lot of education. So it was a really, really great awareness play for us to just get in front of people's space. I think also visually, we really stood out. A lot of brands are like typical gamer, it's like the black, the blue, the orange, those colors. I mean, sorry, black, blue, purple. And we were much more like our orange, our reds, standing out in the crowd. People walked over and they were like, oh, you guys are bright. Like, what is this? So we definitely stood out. And I think that's something important for us to keep in mind moving forward. We also, like I had mentioned, had community holders that haven't been in recently. Our job with them was to re-engage them. A lot of people said, oh, wow, this looks so much better than last time I jumped in. I'm going to need to check you guys out again. So that's a great learning that we're taking and hoping to continue to encourage people to re-engage and come back inside. Research, so many learnings here. The three biggest, I would say, is teachers and students are craving educational content. There were so many like masters of game design students or professor of 3D modeling or whatever it may be, where their skill sets would be totally valuable in Decentraland. So we will be working on creating content from that for them. Particularly, it was primarily Web2 brands, but really big Web3 sponsors were present. Avalanche, Arbitrum all had really big, expensive booths and experiences there. So I did hear less negativity about Web3 than I thought. Very few. People are starting to be open to it a little more. We did not go heavy on the Web3 language when we were talking to people. We really focused on open world, decentralized user generated content. Anyone can come in and build. Those were like the main points. When people asked deeper questions, we obviously mentioned that the wearables were NFTs. You could have a wallet, but social sign in was available. A lot of people loved that. So these are some of the key messages that have been distributed. The biggest learning, and not surprising, is creators loved the revenue potential. Many of them are building on other platforms. And when we had said the split that we have at Decentraland, which is meant to be creator first, is 97.5 on primary, 2.5% on secondary. They were really appreciative of that. Many were like, what is your business model? What's your cut? That's where we explain the DAO and the land and how that all came into play. So really excited to hear people are starting to lean more towards the idea of, you're right, we don't want a big company owning all of this. I like that you're a nonprofit and it's handed to the community in the future. So that is really exciting to hear that resonated. And then connections. Two of our main reasons for going was to meet new people, and new people, particularly in a business sense, that can bring IP. So we met with some, I can't share who exactly yet, but we will be following up about bringing games or IP entertainment into Decentraland. That was a great opportunity for us to meet with them, explain what's possible, understand their pricing structures, how that could work. So more to come when any deals are solid there, but really good opportunity for brands and games to reach a new audience, maybe with like a mini game in Decentraland that could be a preview or a trailer to what's to come. And then we met a bunch of influencer agencies. We are planning, as we've mentioned in the past, user acquisition after the client release, Q4 type stuff. So good to just have these connections and start making them early. So that is all about GDC. If there's any questions, feel free to drop them in the Slido and I can answer. For what's coming next, gaming open call will be coming soon. We are planning to do gaming month or week. All the details we are finishing out as soon as Art Week is done. So that will be happening in June. So if you have some game ideas, definitely start thinking about it. For additional IRL events, conferences, we will share them as they are booked. We are definitely looking at more, probably mostly focused on Q4, again, after new client, when we really want to do a bigger splash. The ambassadors are now planning their own events in their geographies. And I also want to make sure this is clear to everyone. Anyone is welcome to create meetups in their areas. If you need some visuals of like Decentraland branding, it's all on our press kit online, which I'll link here right after. But we'd be happy to share anything that you may need for that. So just keep us posted. I love seeing everyone kind of meeting up in real life. I know Biometa, Atravanata are doing something in New York this week. So definitely feel free to meet up on your own outside of the system as well. Art Week. So Art Week is going on. For anyone that is not aware, it's live. Jump on in. It's a really awesome experience. We are live now. We're on day 2. We have 40 plus artists, integration of Mesh Fair at the center with 32 cubes. There's live performances, awards gala and DJ set, free wearables and emotes daily. I do want to note, we know there was an issue with the emote quest yesterday. We are working on figuring out how we can get anyone that was trying that emote. So stay tuned there, but it's working today as expected. And there will be a wearable today, a wearable tomorrow, and an emote on third. Sorry. This is day 2. So there's 2 more to come, another wearable and another emote. I'll post on social what they are so you can get a sneak peek as well if you didn't notice already. Lots of really exciting stuff happening for Art Week. We have been multi-streaming. So when Art Week tours are happening, we are streaming them on YouTube, LinkedIn, and X live. Some of the ones yesterday, I think we crossed 1,400 viewers, which was so exciting. So thank you to everyone that tuned in. The more viewers that are there, help share the algorithm, gets it kind of noted. One of our fun internal facts was yesterday, Gary Vee was hosting at the same time as us, and we had more viewers, which was a really fun personal win. So I think being able to show people what is possible in Decentraland, even if they're not logged in, just gives us additional awareness, additional accessibility, versus only being able to experience it in. So that is why we have programming. Community Summit is coming up. We have the daily agenda plan. This is a rough outline of the schedule. All our venues are booked. Stuff has been ordered, and attendee coordination is happening. If you are attending the summit and haven't sent us your Discord name yet, please do that. That's an opt-in, so you can start coordinating with everyone. And next up, we're finalizing the workshops and the build-a-thon, but lots to happen there. And then last but not least, just a general update from our HR team. We are hiring for 5 roles at the foundation: data analytics senior, social media manager, player support specialist, senior dev ops, and people ops analyst. These are all live on the Lever page. We will link it here as well, Fed, if you don't mind doing that. So that you can jump in and see the job descriptions for all of those. If you are qualified for that or you know someone that is, definitely feel free to let us know or apply, and we can keep you all posted there. I did want to note their social media manager role here. I know many of you know this, but if not, that will be hired on my team. PB has moved to a different role outside of the foundation, but is handling video creation for us separately. So if you're used to DMing PB about stuff, just make sure you're DMing the social account and not his private account, so that we can get to you. I also have the social media request channel in the Discord now as well. But I think that is it from everything general. Thanks, everyone.
Hello, everyone. This is Nico. Thank you for having a good day so far. So let me share some of the latest product updates, as we always do. So let's get right into it. But before we start, let me show these communications on the previous all hands, but I wanted to give a brief reminder to all of us here, in case you were not on the last one. in terms of transparency and collaboration, what we have been doing in the past months. This is already live. You can check it out. It's a public board where we upload all the initiatives that we've been doing since we started um, working last year with this, with the shape up methodology. So it's all right there, all the history, all the things that we've been doing. If you check it out now, you can also see the things that are coming up next in the upcoming cycle. So I'll be sharing all the details and all the stuff that we can. In terms of collaboration, again, we started putting this into practice formally on the past cycle. We've been doing this since before, but we are doing this in a more formalized and structured way. So as you already know, we are using the Cani platform to get product feedback and get requests from all of you. So if you go to feedback.decentraland.org, you can leave your feedback for any features or anything that you would like to see live in the platform. We are taking the 2 first weeks of the 8-week development cycle to shape all the initiatives that we get in Cani. Most of them are already tackled. And then we also shape and we define initiatives that we understand from the foundation that important for the success of the platform as well. And then at the end, we prioritize it according to the product strategy that we'll be commenting next. And those are the things that we do during these 8-week cycles and the ones that I present now. So feel free to jump in and leave us your feedback. You will see that many of the things that were asked in the past months are going to be a reality pretty soon. For example, for cycle 6, we have 31 Canyon requests that were shaped and 10 made it to the cycle. 10 is a good number. We'd like to see more. Currently, the team is focused on the new clients, so we'll have like all the hands available. But once we have the release done, we should be able to tackle more into each cycle. But this will change according to the priorities as well. So that being said, let me share with you the things that we've been releasing on the past couple of weeks. Some of these are being released in the next few days. I think there's only one being released on Monday, but the rest is mostly live. We've been sharing all the updates in our socials, but stay tuned to check out the latest updates as well. The product strategy that we follow in this cycle, it's half of the team, mostly it's focused on building the new clients, so the performance issue, and many improvements regarding gameplay and graphics. And then the rest of the team is working on improving the creator tools and making an easier onboarding for Web2 and Web3 users. So these are the things that we've been doing for creators on the past couple of months. Nico Ershow is going to present. So Nico, all yours.
Hey there, other Nico here. So yes, let's dive right into it. We'll start with the more technical stuff. This first task has to do with a bunch of different, quality of life improvements for developers. There's several things, separate things. One is, for example, that there's always been a lot of noise in the console. If you ever open the console, there's a lot of stuff you don't need to see. Now a lot of that is cleared away. The thing I'm most excited about is what we have here in the video, which is about creating creating a scene from a URL. So when you're creating a scene, you have that option to create from a URL, and you can come here even to the example scene. Just copy one of the view code links and paste it right there when you're creating the project. So create a project, you paste the URL, and there you're downloading just that folder for the project. If you're familiar with our examples repo, you'll see that's one big repo with a whole lot of examples, with a whole lot of projects. And before you had to download the whole thing, which was huge, a dozen of projects that maybe you didn't need, you just wanted to have one. So with this, you create a project that has only the contents of that single project that you want. So it's a great way to start off from a template, to start off from a specific starting point. So for example, here you can see that we have all of the files of the scene, and you even have the 3D art of that particular scene. Other stuff that we did as part of this task is that we can also create a library from this process, which is also great. We want to encourage people to create more libraries to share more pre-built solutions for other people. We also have yeah, if you ever create a scene that included smart items and code, you'll notice that there's like some default code that gets added for the smart items. That was never very comfortable. Now you don't have to deal with it anymore. We also labeled a bunch of deprecated functions as such, so it's clear which functions are deprecated and which aren't. And also we improved a bunch of buttons on the desktop editor. Now, for example, you have a button specifically for deploying to worlds. Before it was a very hidden option. You also have, whenever you're deploying, you're opening a new window on the browser rather than inside Visual Studio. And there you have, if you have MetaMask, for example, it's one step left. And like it makes things quite a lot easier thanks to that. Moving on. So, oh, sorry, just playing the video. Whenever I click next, I'm somehow playing the video instead. Weird. Sorry about that. Here we go. Sorry. So there's then this project which involved really two disparate things. One had to do with having responsive font size. So if you notice in this video, the size of the font is changing as we shrink or enlarge the screen. So thanks to that, yeah, we can make adaptive UIs that don't just adapt the size of cubes, they also adapt the size of the font. And yeah, the way to do this is very similar to CSS. So if you're familiar with that, it should be easy to adapt. And the other thing that is fixed here is that it wasn't possible to teleport the player within a world. Now that's possible. So that is another important bug that we fixed with this. Another thing that changed in the SDK is that now there is a much more friendly way to play sounds. There's a .play sound function and a .sub sound function. And this is not just cleaner and more consistent what we do with other parts of the SDK. It's also enabled us to do two things that weren't possible before. One is to retrigger a sound that was already playing. Before, if you had a longish sound and you tried to play the same sound again, but the initial repetition wasn't done yet, nothing changed because the sound was already in status playing. With this, we can easily get around that problem. And the other thing is that you can pause the sound and play it again and resume it from where it was, or you can force the sound to start playing from anywhere halfway through, which is also a great way to add more ways to create great content. Next one. So now getting more into the dApps and stuff that is not so SDK related, we now have categories for worlds. So you can add a category or multiple categories to a scene that is deployed to a world, just as you can with scenes deployed in Genesis Plaza, in Genesis, Genesis City. And yeah, you can do this through the builder. It is no different from doing that for regular scenes, and you can then filter through these categories in the Places tab, making them a lot easier to find. We also added a couple of animations to the preview of wearables. So whenever someone is creating a wearable, you can preview a bunch of animations like this. And we didn't have a couple of essential, very important animations, which were run, jump, and walk. So now it's easy to check out your wearable, make sure that everything behaves as you expect when doing all of these common animations. Next. So we increased the size, or we are about to increase the size of wearables of category skin. So as you know, skins are full body wearables that cover the entire body. And so when you're using a skin, you're not really rendering any other wearables usually. So it made sense to give these more room as other wearables aren't being rendered. Now, one technical hurdle we had to get over when to do this is that we were still downloading all of the hidden wearables whenever someone was wearing a skin. So maybe there were some pants and tops and glasses or whatever that were also being downloaded and not being shown. So now that is not happening. And thanks to that, we actually have the technical capability of rendering something that is more heavy whenever you're wearing a skin. So creators of wearables, yeah, be on the lookout for when this goes live. You can now start creating skins that are a lot more detailed. Another great thing for wearable creators is that now you can pay for the submission fee in fiat. So this is a great way to remove some barriers to creators who maybe weren't in the ecosystem, who didn't have mana on their wallets. So thanks to this new flow, you can just pay with whatever means of payment is comfortable for you. This, by the way, does not affect the value of mana, because mana is still being used in the background. This is just a superficial layer of better usability for the user. Next one. This is for the editor. So now we have a bunch that have to do with how we can improve the editor, or we have already improved the editor. So in this case, what we did is we added the ability to, or really the feedback to show you whenever something is out of bounds. This has always been a tricky thing, because sometimes things may have like bigger bounding boxes than you think, or maybe like a corner of the bounding box there might be out of bounds, even though it might look like the model is fully inside the scene. Also, you can see all of the triangles, bodies, materials, textures, all of these things that were available in the old builder but aren't available in the new one, now are. So here, for example, if I'm duplicating this stream several times, you'll see that now I am above the limit of the triangle. So I see a little warning down there. So thanks to this, I can make sure that my scene is well optimized and that everything will be rendered as one would expect. Another thing that has improved for the builder, or really this is something that is about to improve for the builder, is there isn't access for this video. Sorry about that. I'm fixing that as we speak. So there we go. So now we have a simplified view for smart items. So the idea being that smart items have, in the old builder, been a lot easier to use than the new ones. The new ones are way more customizable and way richer in the ways you can, build things with them, but they're harder to use. So now, for example, if I open a lever, you'll see that there's just like what happens when it's activated, what happens when it's deactivated. It's super straightforward. We're hiding a lot of complexity underneath the rug so that, creators don't need to deal with all of that unless you want to. And for example, in the chest, again, there's like very little options. There's just the basic stuff that you will often need. The same applies to, for example, doors. The door has just a couple of settings. You can see that what you use to open and close it, or if you want the door to open and close on its own when clicked. Here in the button, again, there's just one option. And the options you can select from the door are also less. They're just the things that you usually will deal with. Again, the platform also has just the distance, the speed, if you wanted to loop, and a bunch of settings that are pretty straightforward and don't involve really getting into deep things. But otherwise, you can go into the advanced view, and that is the view you have today. And you can see that there's actions, there's triggers, there's conditions, there's states, and there's a bunch of things that make up the behavior that you see with the platform. There's even like a tab for multiplayer interactions and stuff. But with just doing what we just saw, you already have a scene that perfectly works. And most of the times, this is the kind of interaction you'll be looking for. So why complicate things more? So next, we have a bunch of player health smart items. So we added up a bunch of 9 new smart items that bring in all kinds of fun interactions to the scene. This is the first version. We're still iterating and experimenting with different ways that these interactions can work. But for example, you have a weapon, an enemy that attacks you. We have an actual health bar that you can add both to the player or to another item. You have respawn pads, health little bundle thingies. You can respawn an enemy. You have walls that break and barrels that explode, all those fun things. And this also comes with a bunch of 14 new actions that include, for example, playing an animation with a player, swapping a model, even like spawning something in a random location. There's a bunch of things that beyond these new items can be used in all kinds of ways to create new mechanics with any custom items you might have. So I'll leave it to Nico.
Thank you, Nico. Amazing updates. So most of this is already live. I will show you some of the things that we've been pushing to production in the last couple of weeks as well, helping to onboard users and making it easier for newcomers. One of the things that we did for the marketplace, I'm trying to play the video, but it's not playing. I don't know if you can press it for me. Thank you. So this is currently available in the marketplace. You will see this switch at the top right, where you can choose different networks to connect. So if you are only in Ethereum, maybe this is not a great change. But if you are like a super invested in crypto and you're working to different blockchains like Arbitrum, Binance, Optimism, like we're going to continue adding more networks. These ones are the ones that we have currently. You can log in with these networks as well. Obviously, you can buy wearables and emotes with tokens that we have in any of these chains. Then again, mana is transacted under the hood, but this is way smoother if you are this type of user that interacts with many other chains. We can only add EVM compatible blockchains. So if you have any suggestion, something we should also add here, feel free to create a request in Canny. Another thing that we introduced this cycle is the ability to buy names and land with any token as well. Previously, we could also, until now, we could also buy wearables and emotes. We introduced this also for lands and names. To mint names, we are working on the introduction for secondary sales of names as well. So we had this similar feature for this previously, but it was also working for tokens in Ethereum and Polygon. Now with the login, multi-chain login that we have right now in the marketplace, you can also use tokens from other chains. These are the ones are the same, but you can also buy land and names, right? Another interesting feature that we introduced in this cycle, this is about to go live in the next couple of days, is the new notifications. So when you get a reward, this is broadly used by many creators in the Decentraland and broadly used in events mostly. When you get a wearable or an emote from a dispenser that is using the reward server, you will get a notification in the marketplace and in other dApps. So you will know when that arrives to your wallet. Also, something that was requested was about event notifications. So you start following an event and it's about to start. 1 hour ahead, you will get a notification in the system. And once the event is just about to start, you're going to get another notification. So the idea is that everyone knows which are the events starting now, the ones that you are more interested in. Another thing that we did to give like a more recent experience across applications.
I think we lost him, right?
Yes.
Notifications.
Yep. There he is.
Yeah. You froze for like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm back.
Yep.
Yes.
I was saying that for consistency, we now have notifications. The same we're showing in the apps the same notifications as in the governance dApp. Until now, these were separated. Now you can see all the notifications in the same place, so we can start feeling more like an ecosystem into that direction. Then we also added a couple notifications for rents. When the land, if you have land published for rent and it's rented, you will get notified about that. And once the rent is finished, you will also get a notification about it. And there are a few other notifications about world status, if your status ran out of space, or if you freed it out of space, if you have more space available, you will be notified as well. Another thing that we did, this was like another improvement of a feature that we would have. You can already block players. This is coming out on Monday, so check it out next week. But when you block a player, you are only blocking the chat messages and the friend requests. But there were some cases of harassment, unfortunately. So in order to protect users in the platform, we added this to the feature. So now every time you block someone, you will also stop seeing that user. Of course, they cannot chat with you and they cannot send you friends request as well. Then we added, I don't know if you noticed, but in the settings page, we also added a list to the blocked players. So if you want to check out the players that you blocked, you can check them out there, and you can just keep them blocked, or you can unblock them from that menu as well. So it's all consolidated and easy access. So this is what we've been developing on the past cycle. That was cycle 5. Now we are entering on Monday. We are entering cycle 6, which is going to have deliveries by the end of April and by the end of May. So let me share with you some things that we are going to be cooking in the next couple of weeks. So in terms of product strategy, we are keeping the same one as we have for cycle 5. So we are still working on the new desktop client, the creator tools and the onboarding. We are also considering as well the Canary requests. For this cycle, we have half of the cycle are Canary requests. So you're going to see the batch in the slides coming up next, but it's a huge impact after we introduce this new framework. So I'm happy about that. What I can say about the new desktop client, still kind of a secret for the moment, but I will share some more. We're going to have the unveiling on May 22, 2024. This is really close right now. So I hope you're hyped as I am. Of course, on the summit, we're going to share more info about this, and it's good. The next time we meet in the All Hands, it's not going to be a secret anymore. So yeah, stay tuned. Big updates coming up. So back to Earth right now. Nico, you want to take over?
Sure. So yeah, let's look at the things that we'll start working on now. So the first of these is allow a creator of a wearable to opt out of VRM exports. By the way, I haven't been commenting this, but up in the corner, we're marking with this little label, the community request ones. These are the ones that have come from feedback from our users. So yeah, this has to do with allowing the creator of a wearable to opt out of letting people export their wearables. So once this is done, the creator will just have to check a box somewhere, and then whenever a player tries to export to VRM, if they're wearing any of the wearables that is opted out, they won't be able to, and the player should be able to see which ones they are, and a player should be able to know which ones are opted out when buying, so that if they had the intention to export, they know. Then we are also going to add the ability to show NFTs from Polygon. So we've been up until now limited by OpenSea, which is where we were sourcing the NFTs from, because it before didn't expose that in their API, but now they do, and now we've migrated to the new API. So it's about time we start taking advantage of that. And this doesn't just open the door for showing Polygon NFTs, it also opens the door for showing NFTs on other networks like Solana, Zora, and others. And also we can fix something that has been broken since a few months, which is that some NFTs stopped working when we switched to the new API from OpenSea. This is because there's something missing there. They're not exposing a special thumbnail version of the image, but we can also do a fix so that we can show all NFTs from Ethereum and from Polygon, which I think will, be very valuable to our creators out there who want to show art in Decentraland. So next, whenever you're streaming audio into a scene, one thing we were missing, and this is something that people have asked for as well, is that there is no status of the connection of the audio stream. So if the connection were to break, if it were to fail, the scene can't know in order to re-trigger and run the stream again. So thanks to this fix, we'll be able to have the scene detect when something fails with the audio stream and play it again. Another thing that was asked for, and this is something that we've known we want to do for a while, is adding more attach points to the avatar. So right now you can add an entity to either the player's hands or on top of the player's head. And why not also add things to other parts of the players, like the feet, their elbows, their knees, their backpacks, and this will enable all kinds of new mechanics, both in scenes and smart wearables and that kind of environment. Then we'll also be adding operator rights to worlds. So right now it is possible to give your share rights to a world, but only via the CLI, which is a fairly complicated and not accessible to many of the creators. So the idea is to make this accessible via the web interface. So just like you can add a collaborator now for a scene, which is what we're showing here, you also be able to add a collaborator for a world. Then we are going to add a new rarity category. This category is going to be called exotic, and it will be of 50 wearables. So there will be something in between the mythic, which is 10, and the legendary, which is 100. And this will involve having to do some changes in the builder, the marketplace, and explorer to reflect this everywhere in the platform. Then we'll be adding the possibility to add extended information about wearables. So as you know, there's some wearables that have some special utilities in some scenes, as is the case with some Wondermine or some DG wearables that gave you special utility. The idea is to allow the creator of a wearable to surface this in the marketplace. So whenever someone buys a wearable, they'll be able to see that this wearable has a special utility in-game. We'll also start, using the tags that a wearable can have to make it more searchable. So right now, it's already possible to add tags to a wearable. Like the UI already allows for this, but these tags weren't being, really surfaced anywhere in the platform. So the idea is that now in the marketplace, these tags will also help your wearables be more searchable. And that will help people find what they're looking for a lot better. And you don't just have to search for the name of the wearable. You can have a lot of tags that really mark what their wearable is exactly in more detail. And then we have a bunch of bug fixes that we want to do in the new editor. So there's things, for example, with shaders not matching exactly how they look in world when you're in edit mode. Here you can see that, for example, there's transparent materials that don't look how they look, or there's colliders even that appear as visible things when they really shouldn't. There's a bunch of things that we will want to fix. I won't get into detail, but there's several of them. And the final thing is we will be making it easier to add floor tiles to scenes with the editor. So here's a video of how the current experience is, which is rather painful to watch. So right now you drag in one tile at a time, and you have to adjust the position, which can get pretty tricky if you want to have them fit in just right. You usually have to actually go into changing the numbers numerically, and this is quite a pain. The idea is to have something more akin to how the old builder works, where you just drag in one of these items and you populate the entire scene, whatever is the size, with a whole tiling of these tiles covering the whole of the floor. And then you can also keep editing things. You can remove some of the tiles, change some of the tiles, but at least you have an initial layout with everything already there. So that's all I have.
All right, back to me. A few things that we're doing for onboarding. One of the things that currently we have is the base wearables. When you maybe we have many OGs here with like amazing custom wearables, but if you use the base wearables when it's the first time you enter Decentraland, some of them are only available for either one of the two body shapes that we have available right now. So we're going to fix this. So all the base wearables are going to be updated, and all of them are going to be available for both body shapes. So there's not going to be problems with that anymore. We're going to build a new support page. We're going to have a support page, which is pretty basic. It only shows the contact support widget, but we also have useful information that will save you time, which are the system status to see if everything is operational. Some quick links to frequent asked questions, to documentation, information about the DAO. So it's coming up also with a new design, more beautiful. So yeah, just to make it easier for anyone who has doubts and needs support from our amazing team. Uh, we're also adding email notifications. The notifications that we currently have are only available in app. So this comes with two changes. First, you're going to be able to input your email if you want to. Of course, it's optional, and get notified in your email about the same notifications that we currently have. So if you receive a wearable from a reward, if an event that you want to attend is about to start, you're going to get notified on your email, so you don't miss anything important. But this is, I mean, it's not invasive, but you can get tired of these notifications, and maybe you want to choose which ones you want to get and which ones you don't. We're going to introduce a new section in the settings page where you can toggle on or off each notification individually, so you can choose which things you want to get notified and which you don't. So you have the control on this as well. And last, for today, we're going to be working on a research project. This is not going to be in production by the end of the cycle. The end goal of this initiative is to present a DAO proposal to improve the current link wearables system. If you interacted with the link wearables workflow, it's kind of cumbersome. So we are working on a technical approach to propose it in the DAO, where third parties don't need to create an API in order to get the link wearables. We're trying to handle that on our side, maybe with a simple UI where you can just define this on your end without the need to create an API. Some other changes in terms of what you need to be accepted to this. Of course, this needs DAO's approval, so we're going to set up a proposal. I hope to count on your support and on your feedback so we can keep improving it and have a way better link wearables workflow to onboard new communities with less friction. That's it from our product updates. I hope you enjoyed the thing that we launched recently on Cycle 5, and you are hyped by things that are coming up next. Thank you very much for listening.
Thanks a lot, both Nikos and Kim, for sharing those updates. As usual, like great updates, many breakthroughs. So really nice to hear from you. I'm going to share my screen for the questions in Slido. Just wait a sec. Remember, you are still on time to share your questions, your concerns. I'm sharing the link there in the chat. And we're going one by one with the questions. Okay, the first one that has been like very upvoted says event. Yes, sorry. Kim, you want to say something?
Oh no, I was just gonna say I'll answer that when you're ready.
Oh, okay, great. Events attendance seem to be neglected from outsiders, and everything happens within DCL's echo chamber. Can we expect future and bigger marketing endeavors?
So the answer is yes. So where we stand today is prioritization on letting everyone know in the community what's happening at the moment. As of right now, I just actually pulled it up to check. Art Week has about 18 to 20% new users jumping in, and that's without any paid advertising. Right now, all of our efforts are organic until we have the new client release where we will do start growth and paid activities outside of the Decentraland ecosystem. However, thinking about bigger events, conferences like you saw, GDC is something that we've invested in that is outside of our ecosystem that was primarily not people in Decentraland at all. And we'll be continuing to look for opportunities like that in real life as well. So twofold answer, definitely more marketing coming. Paid is not turned on at the moment until performance is something we're really excited about, which will be after the alpha release. So I hope that answers your questions. If you need any more specifics, add a new question.
Thanks, Kim. The next one goes, when will the mobile version arrive, and when will the new version of Decentraland arrive with better quality?
Sure, I'll tackle that one as well. So the new mobile version is not handled by us. So that is handled by an awesome grantee in the DAO. We are talking with them though to help amplify those efforts. So last I saw, the beta is currently open for Android users, and Apple will be coming, iOS will be coming soon after that. If you want access to the beta, Feds, I think you can share where people can go for that. But that is being made outside of the foundation from a grantee team. And it's looking great. We're really excited to see that come to life. For the new version of Decentraland, as Nico mentioned, it will be an unveiling on May 22nd. So that doesn't mean it'll go live, but that's when we'll be able to kind of show you all what it'll look like in an alpha perspective. So it'll have a tiered approach. We'll share that in our next all hands with all of you on how that will roll out. But we will have, a community version first, then a public version. So it will definitely roll out in waves.
Thanks, Kim. I'm definitely going to share the link, or if anyone from the Grand Support Squad or the rest of the team could help me by sharing the link to the Discord channel where the protocol squad can answer your questions, share the links to download in the Play Store and everything to test out the new clients. Will be great. But yeah, we have a Discord channel as we for all the grantees. They already conducted live tests with the community members, so I believe it's open for everyone in the Play Store to start it.
So we put it there in the chat. See, share the proposal and also the video of the last testing session. So yeah, they are working on Godot and Betty Client now as well. And Leanne put the Discord channel where you can communicate with the team. And also I want to invite everyone to join to their next testing session will be the next 9th of April in Discord. So the event will be there soon. And I hope everybody can join to try the new Betty like clients. Well, the team can say better. I just wanted to let you know that. So there are amazing grantees. Bye.
Thanks a lot, Fifi. Okay, there you have the links then. There will be a testing session soon. Last one was like really nice, and it helped a lot the team, like the feedback and a lot of users testing. So we'll keep you posted about it. Next one, it goes compared to the way of building in The Sims. Are we close or far from having something similar?
I can get that one. So as I shared in the update just now, we are making like some very nice improvements. The Sims, of course, is a very polished experience built by a very large team, and there's a lot of great things that we can take inspiration from. It's also slightly different in many ways from what like there are pros and cons to different ways of building, and we don't necessarily want to copy everything from them, but it's definitely a great source of inspiration. Like one thing in particular, like a lot about The Sims is the way you can just extend the wall and have like an automatic wall instead of having to add multiple different separate items to construct a wall. That's quite a pain. That's something we really want to look into. But yeah, as I mentioned, there's already a bunch of things that are in the pipeline that will help, and we'll get there step by step.
Thanks a lot, Nico. Okay, the next one. Is there any transparency into foundation financial status? All the layoffs last year scared a lot of the community. What does the runway look like?
Hey, Fede, I can take this one. So there is no transparency on the foundation financial status. That's something that we have discussed this in different times. That's something a question that is being asked frequently from the community. And at the moment, the decision internally is to not showcase all the assets and the balance sheet. We believe it's not that necessary, and a lot of follow-up questions come from there. And it's something that we should take very carefully. I can assure you that we have a runway for in cash for 2 years. Like if mana goes to zero, we can run for 2 years and safely. And also we have a big treasury mana and other assets as an investment. So the foundation, treasury, and financial status are pretty solid at this moment.
Thanks a lot, Jimmy. Very clear. The next one, will there be more community related contests? Builder, game jam, wearable, emote, and else contests?
I can take that. Yes, definitely. We love doing the contests. I would actually love to hear from some of you so we can start a discussion in the Discord after of just what type of contests you love, how much time you need for each that feels appropriate, your favorite prizes. But we do have allocated budget and time for these. So I would love to just talk more about which ones you would love to do. But yes, definitely more community contests, and budget is set aside to do it this year.
Well, that's really nice to hear. Next one, will the new client have advanced features options the current client doesn't offer? Some alpha that can be shared, or it's a one-on-one copy but better performance? That's a good question. Don't know who wants to.
I can take it.
You can
Spoil you. You are being bad by asking this before the unveiling. So we took the chance to rethink many things from the implementation of the Explorer. Um, all the narrative about the surroundings of the content created by the community that was, I think, for a long time not taken care of. I mean, like the empty parcels and what's outside of Genesis City. That part of narrative that is like the frame of the the artwork. You know, the art is your content, but what is all around it, I think, has been neglected. And for this version, I think you can expect way more on how the environment around the content looks like. Um, so that was is one part. Uh, Improving the avatar, not only like on the aesthetics, on the how it moves. Uh, so I think that's something better. Like a lot of details in all the things that we redid, we tried to take it to the next level. But I think that there are many things there to be wow about. Um, yeah, on the communication protocol, we make many changes to the communication protocol to make it more efficient, like almost no lag. That you have two friends and you can actually see the right path they made. So like the feeling of immersion is way better, even though the mechanic is the same, like seeing an avatar, but it just performs way better. Yeah, I don't want to spoil you anymore. Wait 2 months.
Okay, well, it was a good response. So yeah, very excited about the new launch. But it's not that away. I mean, 2 months for a whole new client with enhanced performance. It's good. Okay, next one. Can event organizers be offered financial incentives similar to those provided by other platforms for content creation?
Yeah, we don't have at the moment an active program to offer that kind of financial incentives, but that's something that we can totally think internally. Yeah, for sure. Eventually, maybe it's a cooperation with the DAO on about how to fund these kind of programs. Um, but I do believe it's an important part that we need to do sometime this year. Once we have the new client ready, we expect to go big on marketing and onboarding. Part of the engagement is to have events in the platform. Also encourage people to go to those events. Part of the experience of becoming a Decentraland citizen and getting a progression of your avatar, being an active contributor there. So I do believe organizers of events are a big part of what makes Decentraland shine. So offering incentives to them makes a lot of sense.
Great, definitely sounds like something that we could work around with Kim and Nat. So let's put hands to work after the release. Next one, will creating scenes always require programmers? The builder is still missing a lot of key functions to make complex scenes. Programming is very expensive.
I think
Yeah, so no, like it's not mandatory to program. Of course, you have more flexibility and you can use all the power of the SDK. But as Nico showed in the previous updates, we have been adding a lot of features to the new editor that has a way better performance than the legacy one. Now we are at a point in which it has mostly all the features that the previous editor had. We started by adding a lot of power to smart items and making super flexible, but it was kind of hard. But Nico presented the new simplification of smart items, so it should be more accessible for anyone to start playing with this. You can also use a bunch of templates, so it's not mandatory. We have already a lot of tools in place, but I would like to also remind you that we have a can for feedback. So if there's any feature in particular that you think that we should add to the web editor, we have to review it and try to decide within one of the samples.
Thanks a lot, Nico. I know if you, DR Nico, wants to add something, but it's pretty clear. Okay,
good answer. Thanks.
great. Uh, Next one, what changed to give such confidence in this new client? The last client has been a poor experience. Are there new engineers, new research? What's changed?
This is a really good question. I hope not to get too technical. Um, but the architecture of the Decentraland Explorer is the same since the launch. The team since 2017, that is when the project gets funded, till 2020, they have been working on this Explorer, and they like build the first version, they drop it, build a second version, they drop it, build a third version, and that's the architecture that was published in 2020, and that's the same code we have been working on it since then. Um, at the when I get into foundation, that is less than a year ago, this was the feeling. We are at the very roof of the potential of what this architecture can give because some architectural decisions. And a few initiatives that we try to push, they fail because not only for technical, not for skill of the person doing it, but instead of like poor code base, the code base was really poor and like technical debt. So that was the status. What changed is like it's a totally fresh code base that the current team that is working at nowadays in the center and completely understands and knows and have like having very they did their due diligence in not accepting any kind of technical debt and like it's really tidy. One of the, if you make the question of how the architecture changed, so I think one of the biggest things was that the core business logic of Decentraland was split in two parts. One part is in JavaScript, and that run on the web browser, and that's the thing that runs the scenes. Scenes are written in JavaScript, so it was they thought that making it in the browser that was a good idea. But the other important part of the business logic was in Unity, the game engine that is rendering the world. So you have like the core thing, the core of the product is built in two different languages by different teams. So when an issue happens, like the teams are like, this is your fault, or I need help from your team to help me fix this. And that was really a management pain. Yeah, really any feature that we wanted to do required two different persons from different teams with different skills to make it happen, or just a few people in the organization really have the skills to go through the two code bases. And I think that's one of the things that we changed. Now the full business logic is in Unity. That also has advantages on being multi-platform. Now it's the same binary that we can pack into mobile or VR or any other platform we want to target, instead of like running in JavaScript engine and also Unity. Um, yeah. So
Yes,
maybe
one more thing I can add on top of that. So we definitely brought more experienced people with like bigger games in their past. That also brought us a little like better overview of what needs to be built and what needs to be improved. And as we work on the old code base, we also now fully understand, and the Decentraland has been live for a couple years. So now we also understand the requirements of what the code needs to actually support from the like vision perspective. So we made all those changes that the architecture supports the performance that we need from the client. So yeah, basically went back to drawing board and fixed all the core decisions that we made in the past. So just learning from mistakes.
Okay, I think you managed like really well not making it that technical. So thanks a lot. Um, any plans for extending the treasury for the foundation once the current remaining funds are used? New round of fundraising ideas, create an income source.
we don't have plans to extending the treasury of foundation. At the moment, like, depends a lot on the value of mana, of course, because we hold a lot. Uh, but yeah, we can go for, if we keep a good price of mana. I don't know what that means, but it has a value. We can go for a decade. So yeah, we don't want to compromise on like getting debt with someone else, or I think that part for now, our mission is to provide a solid platform in which we can grow an economy. The DAO can profit from there. That's really our main driver at the moment.
Thanks a lot. Next one. What challenge prevents Decentraland from having greater user input?
I think this strategy with greater user input. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe if it's about like user acquisition and having new people, I would say that we understand that the performance and the product that we have at the moment is not ready for that. After a few years, we saw a huge increase in the amount of users, but we hardly retain the bigger part of that wave. So if we invest more money in bringing more people, we will have that again a wave, but again after a few months we will lose a big part of that. Yeah, so the strategic decision of let's go double down on what's the product and how people explore Decentraland and make that experience really good and engaging, but inviting to come back. I think that's what it will justify to go with marketing, and that's the plan for the year. We're setting the foundations for the future, and this is the first step in a long journey. For sure, we will have the user when the time in which user acquisition is the most important thing, and we'll of course need you all on that.
Okay, so we have three more questions, three more questions. We're right on time, so let's try to respond the three of them. If we cannot, we can take them as a follow-up, but I think we're going to make it. The first one goes, will the new client require any additional effort, major changes for current scenes besides migrating to SDK 7? That's a good one.
No, as far as I know. Nico?
No, should run the same scenes built with SDK7.
We want to add a lot of new features to SDK 7, not for the release of the new client, so we can be on this kind of feature parity level, and also evaluating when we do that, we also should update the current Explorer as well. Yeah, I think that's something that we'll discuss, but no other major effort that just being on SDK 7.
Well, great. That's really important because there were some concerns in the community about this, and now that the release is close, it's nice to know about this, and for the creators and everyone that's currently migrating to SDK 7. Okay, 2 more questions. Will it ever be possible to deploy more than one scene to a world?
Yes.
Okay, and the last one. Does the foundation have plans to incentivize the use of mana for the marketplace rather than fiat or other currencies?
Nico, do you want to take this?
Yeah. So as we mentioned before, mana is still used under the hood. But what I can share besides that is that we are working on the implementation of a new smart contract that will allow us for a bunch of new use cases which its goal is to empower creators to sell more. So have more sellers, we should be incentivizing the use of mana a lot. So in the future, we should be adding. We didn't share this before because we don't have dates, but just to share what we are planning is to have possibilities to do bundles, discounts, hot sales, a lot of stuff. Some of these things were proposed in Kukani, so we took ideas from your request as well. This is a bit ahead, but yes, of course, we really want to incentivize marketplace sales and creators to sell more in the marketplace.
Just to add on top of that, Nico, yeah, I think one of the things about this research project about having a new version of the marketplace is to allow like off-chain sales, or maybe I mean like the bidding or like proposing putting something on sale. You don't have to pay a fee to do that, or if you want to like put an offer to buy a wearable or a land, you don't have to pay a fee just to do the order. Even though I think the only one that is going to pay the fee is the one that is accepting the transaction. I think that is a good incentive. At least it will reduce some friction on using the marketplace, and I don't think it's going to incentivize mana in particular. Any sale that is going through the marketplace, it's moving mana. So I think that's pretty well aligned. Maybe the question is more related to if you pay in mana, you have a discount or something like that. But not sure if that.
I think that, Jimmy, it's related to confusion about what's happening behind the hood when you pay with fiat currency. In short, as Nico explained, we use mana in the smart contract. So the smart contract receives any kind of token, and that token is converted in mana. Mana is used. So the seller receives mana, the dealer receives mana, and you end up paying with mana in a way. So that's the way that we incentivize the use of mana, by using other currency.
Thanks a lot. Very clear. This was also a concern during last strategic planning meetings and platform meetings. So really glad to hear like something concrete from Foundation on this end. Thanks a lot. Do we have time for one more question besides the one for guitar tour from Nico?
No date so far.
If we do have time for one more question, is there a general plan to get more eyes on DCL NFTs? As a lot of creations are unseen or have low sales volume, especially the older ones, as time passes. And that will be the last question for this meeting.
Sure, I can, or go ahead, Nico. You could start and I'll add to it.
Yeah, I was two answers. One is if you have a specific idea, again, please use Kani for feedback and we can investigate on that front. We've been talking about this as an idea. This is not something that I don't know if we're going to do this, but I know having some sort of I know paying for something and you get more visibility, some sort of relevance program. I know we have talked about a few ideas. There's nothing in concrete. I'd have to hear your feedback. I know, Kim, if you were going to say something different.
Okay, I think
Yeah, I
that's
can. I was
yeah.
just
Sorry.
I can add to that. I think in general, there's a few things that can happen here, and we're also having a discussion on the Discord about it too. But in regards to getting more eyes on what the creators are creating, I think it's twofold. It's one, our job as the foundation is to, from a marketing perspective, maintain the brand, the IP, get awareness as a whole, and then also highlight what's being built. So we can do that through many channels. There's paid, earned, and owned, earned, and paid. And we do that through making sure we retweet your content, share you on the blogs, all of that type of stuff. I think as creators working through some of the marketing tips we've done in the marketing DAO workshop that we had to get more eyes on it is definitely important. I think that will come with volume as well. So when I'm in World, I think when the team created the profile where you can now see all of the wearables people are wearing, that's an amazing opportunity to market yourself as people are walking around in your wearables or with your emote. And so that's a way to think about how can you get your creations in front of other eyes. We're here to help with that, educate and highlight as much as we can. And I'm posting this in the Discord, but we're also working on a new way to highlight community creators. So the creator landing page is live. We have a form out there. I can link it here too, just to make sure people know it's available. We're looking for creators to highlight. So make sure you fill out the form, send us your information, and so we can continue to cycle through. We also highlight different creators in our onboarding newsletter flow and on social media. So more to come there, but definitely working to highlight more of the creators and the great stuff you're building.
Thanks a lot, Kim. I'm going to continue with this. First of all, okay, we wrapped up the questions, and I want to use this opportunity to remind you that we have the social media amplification channel and other ways to like amplify your content through the foundation social media and the DAO social media. We also have a lot of ways to reach out to the foundation to access to more information besides these all hands sessions. We're going to post again about these different ways of reaching out, such as the Kanye request, the RFI that the fourth round has closed and the foundation is working on the responses. But yeah, we're going to refresh all of you which are the ways to reach out to the foundation, to ask for more information, and to give feedback. But yeah, I guess we kind of wrap up everything for that was like for this meeting. Um, all the questions has been answered, so no follow-ups. So I pass it to Nat to give a closure to this meeting.
Wonderful. Can you hear me? Okay, awesome. Yeah, thanks to everyone on the foundation side for your updates. So wish I could have gone to GDC Big Time FOMO there from all the videos and posts I saw. Really great to see Decentraland represented in IRL events. Also loving all the events I'm seeing for Art Week this week. Really great. So thanks to Nico Earnshaw and Nico Rasco for all the updates, and also really great to see the updates on SDK 7. Really love the player health smart item. Super cool to see that. And of course, really excited for the upcoming new desktop clients at the end of May. So in case if any of you guys joined in late and missed a portion of the session, again, it will be uploaded later today and will be up on the DAO YouTube and posted on the DAO Discord as well. And like I mentioned earlier, our next Decentraland All Hands will be in 8 weeks. So if you have any questions in the meantime, like Fede was mentioning, you can ask for support via chat, email, Canny, and the RFIs. And special thanks to everyone in the community who joined us for your questions. Thanks to everyone at the foundation, Kim, Nico, Rasko, Nico, Erncha, and Yamil for helping answer all the questions. And yeah, really excited for jumping in world after this. Hope to see you guys in Art Week, and I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. And until next time, bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye bye.